So if you just watched my part 1 video, awesome. It was about 9 minutes or so. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it, okay? So this is part 2 of the review video, review for the 8.1 through 8.4 quiz that's coming up this week, which covers basically 4 big standards: addition and subtraction, multiplication, and factoring of polynomials, okay? So I would suggest watching video 1. Video 1, I talked about the quiz in general, the standards that we're covering, and I covered this first section on like terms or adding and subtracting polynomials. Now I'm going to start up on part 2, which is questions 7 through 14 on multiplying polynomials. Now, depending on the kind of kiddo you are, really determines the strategy that you should be using. If you are a kiddo that struggles attentionally, okay, like paying attention, if you're easily distracted, if you're the kid that goes, dang, I could have totally gotten a good grade on that, but I forgot a negative, this is the strategy you should be using. It's called the box method. The box method just helps us stay organized. You could also use basic distribution. I'm not going to dog that strategy, but that strategy is for kids whose working memory allows them to use their little Etch-a-Sketch right here in this executive functioning position of our brain. But I'm pretty distractible, as evidenced by my lovely personality. Hey. So I'm going to use the box method. It just keeps me organized. There's nothing wrong with my brain, but my brain's thinking about weird stuff like ladybugs and I like cookies. Random stuff. So this just helps me be organized. So if you are like Miller, make sure you use the box method. It's the best. But I'm going to show you both, so you get to pick your poison on this one. Okay? So we're on question 7 through 14, where it says multiply. So this first one's pretty standard. It looks like a middle school question. So I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to use some basic distribution because most kids have seen this one before. 3 times 2 is 6. It's going to be 6x. And then 3 times that is 15. That's your answer. You distributed. However, if distribution's not your jam, the box method might be better, I promise. Here's the box method, okay? The box method is where you put the 3 in front of a box, and then you put 2x and then plus 5 on the top of the box, and you multiply, that's what that little dot implies, to fill in the boxes. Thus, the box method, right? Now you only have to focus at one task at a time, and then you could think about, you know, life and your journey and your purpose and all that good jazz. And then you go fill out the next box and you could do the same thing, right? That's why the box method helps me out. Distribution, sometimes I forget where I am in the process. This allows me not to do that. So let's multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. I see a single x. 3 times 5 is 15. Cool, I'm done. That's my answer. Now it doesn't show like how cool that method is until you get to here, okay? So I'm going to do the box method. Same thing as distribution. We're just keeping it cool here, kids. Keeping it cool. Cool. First thing I do is I do the multiply. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times that's 32, but it's negative 32. Because 4 times negative 8 is negative 32. Now I go back and deal with the letters. You had 2 x's. I'm going to hold up 2 fingers. You have 1 x. If they go to fill in this first box, there are going to be 3 x's in there because you brought 2 x's over, you brought a single x over. That means I have 3 fingers in that box. Over here, 2 fingers, none. This one has x2. Your final answer is going to be 12, x cubed minus 32, x squared. Final answer. This one definitely, I think the box method is best because there's a lot of craziness going on right here. Deal with the numbers first. 5 times 3 is 15. Cool. 5 times that is 40. And it's going to be a positive 40. Yes, you do need a sign on that second one. Now let's deal with the letters. You had 2 x's. You had a single x. There's 3 x's in that one. You had a y. You had a y. 2 y's. Using your fingers as a manipulative is very effective because you literally have 10 of them to use at all times. Unless you chopped one off. Please don't chop one off. You have 2 x's. 3. We have 5 x's in that second box. You brought a y. Your friend brought 4 y's. You have 5 y's in that second box. Your final answer is going to be 15x cubed y squared plus 40x to the 5th y to the 5th. Cool. Final answer. And next one, I do think the box method is best because you have a negative, and it helps keep our negatives, you know, just, we got to think about them. They can be a little sassy, a little salty. X squared minus 4x plus 3. If you're a visual learner like me, you could toss in that 1 just so your brain sees something. I mean, go for the gold, why not? So let's do our numbers first. A negative times a positive is a negative. A negative times a negative is a positive. A negative times a positive is a negative. I dealt with my signs first. Now numbers. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 3 is 12. I have multiplication charts. You are welcome to them on any assignment, activity, exam, assessment, quiz. So you have number lines to grab. You have multiplication charts to grab. You can use them on anything. No calculators will be allowed on this quiz. Let's look at letters. You had 2 x's, you had 2 x's. They joined to make 4 in this box. You had 2 x's, you had 1, joined to make 3. You had 2 x's, you had none, final 2 x's. Negative 4x to the 4th plus 16x cubed minus 12x squared. Cool beans. Cool. Now we have 4 of these to tackle down here. I would recommend the box method for those as well. So let's scooch this up and take a gander. Now, when you're in your bio class, you did a whole lesson on dominant recessive traits. So when someone reproduces and they have blue eyes and someone else, the partner has brown eyes, what color eyes are they going to have? Or if someone has a taco tongue, if someone has a cleft chin, if someone's going to be born with dimples, right? Because a certain genotype, a certain gene sequence, is going to create a certain phenotype, a certain physical characteristic. So I have brown eyes. Both my parents have brown eyes. My husband has blue eyes. Blue-eyed husband, brown-eyed wife. Both of our kids have blue eyes, right? I could use this thing called a Punnett Square to determine the probability of me having a blue-eyed child with my husband who's a blue-eyed adult, right? So a Punnett Square is a great method of organizing information. So that's what I'm going to choose to use. So a Punnett Square is a box with 4 boxes inside, okay? We're going to put the first one on the top and the second one on the side. By the way, you could put the second one on the top and this one on the side. It really doesn't matter. Now you're going to multiply to fill in each box, just like we were multiplying to fill in the boxes before. So x times x is x squared. Any letter times another letter is that letter with a little 2 on the top. 6x, positive, include the sign. 3x, got it. And 18, beautiful. Like terms are on the diagonal. And yes, you're going to have like terms. 6 plus 3 more is 9 and 18. Your answer is going to be 3 pieces long. Front piece, back piece, like terms in the center. Cool. I'm going to move that right here because I just got in the way of my next question. Okay, let's try the next one. I'm going to go with the Punnett Square as well. X minus 4 on the top. And look, the 4 is definitely with the negative with this technique. Some kids get confused, like, who does that negative belong to? Well, this method shows you the negative goes with the 4, and then x plus 5. We're going to multiply to fill in our boxes. Remember, 2 letters multiplied is that letter with a little 2. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. We're multiplying to fill in these boxes. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times a negative 4. Well, positive times a negative is a negative. 5 times 4 is 20. And we have our like terms on the diagonal. Front chunk of our answer. Back chunk of our answer. 5, go back 4 in the number line, is 1x. You could just say x if you wanted, if you're not a visual learner like myself. Ah, nice. Next, there's 2 of these. So literally, if you wrote it out, it's 2 of the same thing. And I would highly recommend you write it out twice because you're going to get a funky answer if you don't. So write it out 2 times. Same thing. I have 3x minus 4 and another 3x minus 4. I'm going to multiply to fill in my boxes. 3 times 3 is 9. X times x is x squared. 3x times that's negative 12x. 3 times that is also negative 12x. Ooh, that's cool. When there's a doubly of something, it repeats in the center. You got doubly. That's nice. Negative times a negative is a positive, and that's 16. Like terms on the diagonal. Front piece is our front piece of our answer. Back piece is the back. And the middle, if you had negative 12 of something and you got an additional negative 12 of something, negative 24 of that thing. This beautiful trinomial is your answer. And last but not least, we have some very special binomials. You're not going to realize why they're so special until you actually multiply them out. And I have videos on 8-4. Please go back and watch my videos on 8-4. Very good videos. So we have x squared minus 6x plus 6x minus 36. Our like terms on the diagonal cancel. That's weird. Because if you had 6 x-ray machines and you lose that 6 x-ray machines, you ain't got no x-ray machines. The final answer is x squared in the front minus 36. Ms. Miller, can I say plus a minus 36? I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. So that's the end of this video. So thanks for coming by. Come back for part 3 and I'm going to do the GCFs. Okay, great. Thanks for stopping by.